have your fear, which might become reality. And you have Godzilla, which is reality.
I'm sick of Godzilla.
Wake up, everyone!
There are two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is Godzilla.
We're safe here. No human being can understand that. The monsters on Monster Island can understand it.
Whether he returns or not, or is never again seen by human eyes, the things he has taught us remain.
Calling Monster Island. Monster Island.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to YHS on Monster Island. I am with my co-host, Jay Key. Jay, how are you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm pumped. I am pumped. We get to talk toys. We get to talk Ebirah Horror of the Deep. And who better to do it with than, hey, he's the big shrimpin', the cold-blooded kriller, our clawsome crustacean salvation, and the crawdaddy of this arthropod cast. We are nothing but prawns in his game. He is the loquacious lobster of the South Seas and someone that cracks safes as easy as he cracks wise. The always somewhat crabby Mr. Jacob Walsh.
Oh, that's the truest one ever. You got that little crabby in there. Thank you so much, Jay. Now, listen, before we even get going, me and Jay, we just filmed a little something for the Jeffrey Awards.
Yeah.
And I'm sure 100% of you are saying, what are the Jeffrey Awards? YHS, yes, have some. We do Toy Anxiety every Tuesday night at 9:30 live on YouTube. And it's all about toys, and we love toys. So we started doing a toy show, like an award show for toys, and this is the second one. It's the 2022 Jeffrey Awards, and there is a category for kaiju toys. So we just filmed a little bit. It's going to get plugged in, and you can watch the Jeffreys live, kind of, next Tuesday at 9:30 on YouTube on the YHS channel. Well, this channel. So if you're watching this, same place. Yeah, it's a fun time. It's an award show. Everybody dresses up. There's some good stuff. So, Jay, thank you for being a part of that this year.
No worries. I was a viewer last year, and I will say, a lot of people kind of do their own thing on YouTube. And yeah, it's a big deal. It's an award show. It's just a couple dudes, saying, hey, we love these toys. Right. This is a big deal. I mean, you guys had huge guests on there. You had, wasn't Randy from NECA. Who was it last year? Trevor from NECA was
Trevor,
on there last
yep.
year as a guest.
Trevor.
Yeah. And then big name guys in the toy collecting community, from your Jake Stevens of the world to, who knows who will show up this year.
Yeah, there's some surprises.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yep,
So
thanks,
I'm
Jay.
excited I'm excited to see what it is. It's a big deal, and really it's the toy show or the toy award show that I really think is the best, and the one that's the most credible.
Best. It is the best toy show around. Absolutely. Thank you so much for those words. It's very fun, guys. Please check in and watch it. There will be some surprises, some guests. I don't know, maybe a musical number. But we're gonna get into this week. We'll do what did we watch first, because I think that's going to be a smaller category than our pickup category. I rewatched the movie that we're going to talk about, Ebirah Horror of the Deep. I also rewatched Colossal. Other than that, nothing new.
Okay.
I love Colossal, so I didn't come out of it thinking any different. I just liked that movie and gave it a rewatch.
Yeah, that's one I wanted. It might be an episode where we do a deep dive. I also appreciated Colossal. Yeah. I don't know if I would say it was one of my favorite ones. I don't know if, I think that's one that when you're in the right mindset.
It's also an outlier, I think.
100%. Yeah. And I think it can be really powerful and really moving, and conceptually, I think it's really unique, especially at the time. But I don't know, for me, it doesn't have a ton of rewatchability, but I think that before I make that case and say that's the final answer from me, I think it does deserve a rewatch. But I really enjoyed it. Don't mix up my words. Sure. I thought it was a great film and a really cool looking kaiju.
Yeah, it is very good looking. It's a good design. What about you? What'd you watch this week?
Well, I also watched Ebirah for obvious reasons, but I've been doing a little thing, kind of working a little side project where I'm watching a lot of movies where Godzilla movies in the Godzilla series, where I feel there's some, let's just say, some underrated acting performances. And so I've watched a little bit of, everything from Mothra versus Godzilla, my favorite movie, to Ebirah, to GMK, to everything, just to really kind of get a grounding on what were some of these performances for some of these actors that maybe don't get the same love as your Sarazawas and your Miki Sagusas and your Ogatas and stuff. So like I'm trying to really focus in on some of those. And so I watched about I think 8 or 9 movies this week. Or I guess in the last 2 weeks. And so it's I would say that I gained greater appreciation for some of the roles that I thought were good, but I didn't really understand how good, as I really just I watched a Godzilla film and focused on one role and one performance, which I never ever do. It's
a different way of looking at it.
Right? Yeah, exactly. So, and it was funny though to see some of these roles. I was like, you know what? It's probably not as good as I thought it was. And then some, they're like, holy cow, like how is this not regarded as one of the best performances? Or they were so critical to that film. So I would say, like, just kind of talking about one, I'll just pick one that I think I'm appreciating more and more and more and more and more after I watch it every time. It always was a fine movie. It was fine. It was like lower middle tier, right? And that's Return of Godzilla 1985. And I have just really enjoyed rewatching some of the human performances, specifically Yosuke Natsuki as Dr. Hayashida, and then like the fan service with him and Hiroshi Koizumi, my favorite actor from the Showa series. Like there's just some really cool stuff in there. And I like that movie more and more every time I see it. And I think that's really kind of the biggest takeaway. All the other films, I don't know if it changed my opinion on any of the films holistically, but it did change maybe my opinions on those roles and those performances. But Return of Godzilla keeps edging up and increasing where I like it. And I think, like I said, I think Hayashida and Natsuki's performance is so damn good and so critical for that film. It's an amazing piece.
Dude, that's exciting to hear. And I like that you can just kind of rewatch the same Godzilla movies over and over and just kind of focus on different things and get different things out of it and change your opinions on a movie here and there. Like that's one of the things that's so great about movies in general. You can say that about every movie, but just like the fact that we're sitting here and, I've seen, Return of Godzilla many, many times, but like now I'm going to go back and watch it again and kind of think about what you said, and get a little bit of a different thing. I love that, man.
Well, I mean, not to go too deep on Return, but like one of the things I think is so cool, and I really want to watch a couple other Godzilla movies with this lens on, is like, we know that there's a lot of kind of, let's just call it harebrained, wacky plot elements in a lot of Godzilla movies, right? I think the more grounded some of the characters are and believable and authentic some of the characters are, I think it does, I think, make those more harebrained plot elements a little, they're dampened a little bit to where and so I think Hayashida, I mean, he's a believable scientist, but not the egghead scientist. He's not the mad scientist. He's a kind of a philosopher, scientist, action hero guy, can jump out of windows and build technologies to, simulate bird sounds. And I think it took a award-winning, critically acclaimed actor to do that. And we're originally supposed to be Akiko Harada, but he obviously got ill right before that and passed away shortly thereafter. But like, it needed that presence and what Natsuki did as Detective Shindo and Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, I think, is very similar as well. Like they needed that. And so anyway, so it just kind of, the ones that I think that have really grounded human performances, I think do dampen some of the wackiness and make it a more believable movie. And I think Mothra versus Godzilla is another good example of that. I think what Takarada brings as Sakai is great.
I love that, dude. And I can't. I know you said you're going through and rewatching stuff for a project, and we won't say what that is, but I'm excited. I'm excited for it. I don't. There you go. Cool, man. So if that's it, we can move on to pickups. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for pickups. I know you had a huge haul. I had a deceptively good haul as well. Like I'm excited. This could be its own episode. It's been a fun couple of weeks for me, just kind of going a little crazy buying stuff. And I will say, for anybody who's listening and not watching on YouTube, like maybe on this episode, come back and maybe watch some of this, because we're both about to show off, a good number of toys, and we both got some cool stuff this year or this week, this year,
this year. Yes.
So you might want to see some of it, but Jay, I'll let you take it away, man. What would you get?
Cool. We can do a little.
We'll do it back and forth. Sure.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to start off with something that I think is really cool. And I love, me, and I've tried to work in the, space titanium and everything I do, right? Well, now I can say I have a Mechagodzilla 2 or Mechagodzilla 75, an M1. It's the old bull mark sculpt, but it's the space titanium variant. And so if you can kind of see there, it kind of has that, that iridescent, like a space titanium. Yeah. It's rather subtle. Like you don't notice it from a distance. When you get up close, it's like, space titanium. And so it's like a nice little, like, hey, if you know what it is, you know what it is, and you appreciate it. So I absolutely adore this guy. I wish everything was space titanium. I wish my walls were space titanium, because this thing is amazing. And of course, like the bull mark sculpt for Mechagodzilla is so good. And I just really absolutely love this guy. So this is one of my favorite pickups. I love this guy.
That's beautiful, dude. I love that too. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good start to this to this week's pickups. Cool. I'll do. You know what? I got one that's kind of maybe kaiju adjacent, not quite a kaiju movie, but I'm gonna show it off here anyway because this is my podcast.
We do a lot of kaiju adjacent. That's totally fine.
Now I got this toy from Toku. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and say, let me look. Yeah, 80% of my haul is from Toku Toy Town. So thank you, Jay, for helping me out with this stuff. There is look at this guy. I don't know what this is. This is a little dinosaur dude. He's got a lemon for some reason. This is one of the cutest things I've ever seen. It's a little T-Rex baby. He looks a lot like Yoshi from the Super Mario movie. He has a lemon. There is a Japanese movie, I believe it's from 1993, and it's just called Rex. I don't know a whole lot about it. It's about a girl who befriends a baby Tyrannosaur. And somebody, somebody posted something about it on Instagram, and I was like, whoa, hold on. What is this? Why have I never, how have I never heard of this? I started looking it up. Me and you, Jay, we had this like session. We were like looking online, trying to see if we can find
the rec sessions.
Yeah, we had a little rec session. We found this toy. We found a VHS, a Laserdisc, some books, all of which is on its way to me because I was like, I need to see this movie. I want to watch it. But in the meantime, I got this fucking beautiful little thing. Look at this. So cool. I haven't seen this movie, but I love it. And I want all the other, I want everything from this. It's gorgeous.
I see why. I mean, what a year 93 for dinosaurs. But
93 is a good. The lemon also is not attached, I found out. It's just like stuck in there. So
I love it.
I don't want to lose the lemon. 93 Jurassic Park, we're back, Rex.
Well, I mean, it does sound like if you made a movie in 1993 in Japan, you wouldn't have made Rex. So I would have made Rex.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Well, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to top. Just sheer like unusualness of it and rarity of it.
It is
like
a weird one. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd never heard of that film either. It's crazy.
Hopefully it's good.
Yeah, man. I don't know if it needs to be good. I think that
you're right.
It needs to be charming.
You're right. There you go. As long as the dinosaur is that cute all the time, it's fine.
I think you're good. Yeah, I think that's all that matters. Well, I'm going to stay on the Terror of Mechagodzilla. So here was my Space Titanium Mechagodzilla. How about him battle this Marathon green glitter, all glitter Titanosaurus there. He is an unpainted, singular color here. He has no other paint. He's just straight green glitter on a semi-translucent vinyl. And there they are, the dream team, Space Titanium, green glitter. Now, only if I wish in the movie they were this color. Well, I guess he was made of Space Titanium, but this would have been just a hell of a tag team right here. But I love this guy. I have a nice little collection going of Marmots and Marasons and M1 Titanosauruses. And this one will be the new leader. Because hey, you can't beat green glitter, man.
You can. It's beautiful. I hate glitter in the real world and in real life when it can get places, but when it's in a toy, I want it.
Yeah, when it's encased in soft vinyl, we are good. I'm right there with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what do you got now?
I will show off. I did get another piece in my slowly growing Lit Goji collection.
Oh, yes.
I did get the Mechagodzilla, which I 100% forgot we ordered until I opened the packaging and this guy came pouring out. This is just such a fun little.
Yeah.
Just all the cartoony Godzilla things are cute, but Mechagodzilla is really cute.
Yeah.
It is a bank like the other Lit Goji banks that are out there. So yeah, I just got that guy, and he's going right in with the rest of them.
That collection keeps growing, dude. You're gonna be the number one Lit Goji guy in the world here soon.
That's my goal, and that's my main goal in my life. Really, is to just own every piece of Lit Goji merchandise that exists.
Yeah.
I'm on the way because I don't think there's much of it, honestly.
No. I mean, it's doable. I mean, there might be some really obscure stuff. I mean, we've seen like the full size costumes and stuff. Those might be hard to get.
Yeah,
well, they can still exist.
I don't think those were ever that was purely a mascot situation, probably. So I don't think there was any getting those. Yeah. What you got, Jay?
This is a unique little piece, and you've seen a lot of collectors with this, but it's the Eiji Tsuburaya autograph monster is what I call him. I don't know what he actually is called, but this is one I got from the Tsuburaya Museum. I didn't go there and get it because, obviously for travel restrictions and everything, but I did get one in Japan, and this is a glow-in-the-dark version. So look at this little guy. Look how cute he is. And I know there was one that came with the M1 Eiji Tsuburaya sofubi, and so this is one that is just by itself. But this was they sell them, I believe, at the museum there in a little glow in the dark. I love this guy, but it'll be a cool thing just to kind of put on the collection, and people go, "What the hell is that?"
That's not for the normals.
No, it's not for normies. It's not for the normies.
That's
you have to be a kaiju
you gotta
nerd.
know. You gotta be
appreciate.
I love it though.
Yeah. No, I love it. It was a cool little. It wasn't on my to get list, but when you see it, you're like, yeah, I should get that.
Yeah. Well, you got to for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. So my next two here, I've been thinking about picking some of these up. I've been talking to you about them. I discovered them and realized that they are maybe some of my favorite sculpts. I really love the kind of porcelain-like look that all the figures have. I did pick up 2 US Toys Godzillas here, and they're beautiful. These are so cool. I will nitpick and say that I hate how small these are. I really do. I knew they were small. They're like 2.5 inches or something like that, and they're a little expensive for this size toy
for sure.
But if you're watching and you can see this, I just love the like smoothness to them. They really look like they're made of porcelain. They're just such a like a delicate, soft little sculpt, and everyone I've seen just looks great. All of them, all the monsters. They do a lot of different kaiju, and they have multiple of the different Godzillas you can get. And dude, I will continue this collection. It's gonna hurt me a little bit because I don't love that they're all like 50 to 80 to 100. The prices get out there depending on which one you want, and they're fucking tiny. But I'm telling you, like, once I get like at least 10 of these, you can start stacking them. Like these will look good on the shelf.
Great boxes.
Yeah, the packaging's cool. I like it's easy to open. There's not like anything to really rip up. These are fun little figures. I love these. Yeah,
and speaking of like, it's not for like the Gen Pop. I would say like US Toys or something. Like you have to really appreciate kind of that toy as an art form to even justify spending, like you said, like let's say $75 on a figure that's less than 3 inches tall. But the one thing I'll say in defense of US Toys, and not that it needs defending, obviously you raved about them, but they are, one other cool thing about them is not only are they beautiful and they're, like you said, I think you nailed it how to describe them, but I think in this kind of sofubi and kaiju collecting world, they're so unique. There's nothing else that's similar to them with that type of paint application, what they look like and stuff. And I think it's
unmistakable.
Awesome.
It's like you can't look at those and be like, oh, that's a Marmot. No, it's not. No. You can tell like right away. I just wish they were just a couple inches bigger.
Yeah. Well, and it's not only the price. It's like they're so beautifully done. Like you want to just see them on a bigger canvas, right? Like
Yeah.
you just want to see them because the paint
For sure.
jobs are so cool. But I agree. I don't. The good news about it is U.S. toys don't go down in value. So like, I mean, it's one of those things like these things they're going to continue to have their audience and their small runs.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're beautiful. But you're right. I mean, it's not everybody can throw out $100 for a 2.5-inch figure. I mean, it's just not. It's not what some people just are fundamentally opposed to it. But they're beautiful. I think, and you picked up 2 really cool ones too.
Yeah, like usually if I'm gonna pick up more than one thing, I'll try to be pretty. If I'm gonna start a collection and I'm gonna buy 2 right off the bat, I usually try to buy 2 that are very different from each other. But I was just like, I love the way all the Godzillas look, that I was just like, no, I just will, me and you did a search to see what was out there and what was available. And I was just like, no, fuck it. Let's get they're both, I love the yellow eyes. They're just great. Yeah.
Well, I'm still hoping that you'll cave and buy the unpainted ones, and then you can paint them, and you can have some Jacob Walsh original U.S. toy sculpt.
We'll see.
sofubi items. I think that'd be pretty cool.
We will see.
You could sell them on YHS, Toy Anxiety, and it'll be like the next Tony Taylor toy. It's creep.
Yeah, but my problem with that is if I have a sofubi in hand, I'm not selling it. I don't care what it is. Like it's probably never leaving hand. So
maybe for a big charity gala that we do, you'll auction off a Jacob Walsh.
Sure.
Okay,
there you go.
Yeah, good.
We'll do that.
I'm writing that one down. This is not as cool as a U.S. toy from a quality of paint application and uniqueness, at least from the style, but the uniqueness of the character, because hot off of our, Welcome to Gilala Land episode, I had to get the old Gilala, and I got this really cool Marasan VHS holder. So it comes with a VHS stand with the VHS that goes in it, and has the movie title there. It has an AAB Gamma right there on the little spaceship floating on a metal pole. And then, of course, the Marasan sculpted Gilala with it. I fell in love with this. I mean, I'll tell you, I didn't have any Gilala sofubi items or anything. And look, there's so much good stuff. I had a hard time picking, but I went with this one because I love the VHS setup. But look at this guy. He's just awesome.
Yeah.
Look at that guy. I mean,
I'm jealous of that toy. I'm jealous of that whole setup. It's really great. And I think we talked about it on our last episode that like right away as I'm watching the movie, I'm like looking up to see what toys are out there. And there really are a lot of really great fun sculpts for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool toy, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it's overwhelming and they're all good. That's the thing, that they're all good.
Yeah. As someone who first of all loves kaiju, but also really loves VHS, that I'm going to have to get that at some point.
Well, cool. I'm gonna have to trade you for your Jacob Walsh original painted U.S. toy whenever it comes. Maybe we could do
I'll do that. That'll work. There we go. Cool. Let me see. Okay, you know what? I'm going to show off something now, this is older. This came out last year. It's a Mondo figure. Now,
yes, I know what this is. I'm so pumped.
It's weird. So like when these were announced, I didn't jump on. So why am I burying the lead? It's the Pulgasar figure. Now I bought one of their other. So they did. I believe there's 6 Pulgasari figures, and it's either 5 or 6. And they did, like 9-inch figures. And they were all kind of weird colors. But they did not reveal what the colors were until the day they went on sale. It was like,
I remember that.
You had to be right there. And at this time in my life, I was still like, well, I want whichever one. I was like, I'm only going to buy one. I don't want to buy them all. So if I'm just going to pick one, I want the one that looks closest to what he looked like in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the first, 4 were all like, they were crazy colors, and in the fifth, either the fourth or whatever the last 9-inch one was the green and gold, and I picked that up, and it was really cool. But then it's great. But then they revealed a 12-inch one that it's a different sculpt, and it is closer to the movie colors. But at the time, I was like, I can't buy that. I just can't. And a year later, almost a full year later, I'm like looking on Mondo's website, and I'm like, those are still in stock.
Yeah.
I'm buying it. I just have to buy it. So I got him. And this is the 12-inch. And like when this arrived, I was like, I am so glad I bought this before it sold out. Because first of all, it's huge. It has a different sculpt as the other one. The mouth is open and the arms are in a different position.
More menacing, yeah.
The sculpt is beautiful. The paint job is great. I love, like, you know, the weirdness of what happened with this movie aside, this is a very, very well designed kaiju. I love him. He's super cool. He's scary looking, which doesn't happen a lot. You know, usually you get silly, but he's frightening looking. So yeah, I bought this guy. He showed up and I love him. And he looks amazing next to the 9-inch Pulgasari. Like, they look great. I'm so happy I bought this thing.
Yeah, I'm very jealous that when you showed me the pictures of it, because I said I've kind of looked at it on the Mondo website. I'm like, I don't know. And then once you show me the pictures in real life, holy moly, like that thing is absolutely stunning.
It really is. Yeah.
And I know, like, I'm honestly, I'm really tempted. Like,
they're still in stock, Jay.
I know.
I actually, like,
so
when
good.
I bought it, I hadn't bought anything big from Mondo since the last Pulgasari. And when I bought the last one, I guess some of the smaller ones arrived. More than one person had issues with them arriving with the horns broken. And it was it was an issue with one, I think it was only with one specific one, something about the horns weren't, like, it was a manufacturing issue or something. So they sent out, a coupon code to everybody who had bought a Pulgasari figure. And it was a good size discount code.
Nice.
And I had just been sitting on it because I was like, well, I was planning on maybe using it when all their Godzillas came out this year, but then I ended up not really wanting any of those. So I used it on this guy.
That's a smart move. Yeah. It's a stellar piece. I mean, that is a beautiful thing. One of the best things I think that Mondo has done this year, last year, I guess. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, I have one more I'm going to show off here, and then I'm going to save one for another discussion later today. But you know, speaking of realistic, this has nothing to do with realism, but I'm super excited. I say this is my best pickup of the week. This is brand new, hot off the press, man. One of the first ones that's released here. I know you see he's peeking out here.
Yeah, that's being peeking.
The 50th anniversary of Gigan, and this is the Marasan Godzilla Store Lucky Bag. One of the 4. This is the silver glitter, silver lame Gigan here. The Marasan Sculpt Godzilla Store Lucky Bag exclusive. I was able to pick up 2 of these, one for me and one for Toku Toy Town, and good buddy of the podcast, and contributor to our sofubi jamboree, Mr. Ryan Wilhelm, got the other one, the red, the rose goldy looking.
Well, I'm
one.
glad he bought it because I was like, kind of like, should I buy that thing?
So it's I love this guy, I really do. And it's and I have another other Marasan Gigan sculpts and stuff, but this is really stunning and it's really cool. And I actually, here's the thing, like the Disco Goji for Marasan, it's all clear and glitter, right? Like you have a little bit of the eyes and the teeth. This one actually has some really good paint application with the gold, and it's even there's some little accents even like between the spines, some really delicate details, like the bottom parts of the fins. I actually think it makes the glitter portion even better. There's some silver paint, really subtle silver paint on the sickle hands and on the feet and the beak. Like I think this might be one of their best glitter overall as a figure, one of their glitter releases they've done. I absolutely adore this guy. I'm sure the other 3 variants are equally as good. I've only seen 2, and I guess the other 2 variants, I should say, and they've both been stellar. But I absolutely love this guy, and really, really, really happy that he is on the Gigan shelf.
Happy
50th. Happy 50th.
Happy 50th. Yeah, that's like a show-stopping piece. Everybody I think needs that. I need that.
I agree. I think it should be like a government thing where, you know, our taxes
should be issued those. Yeah.
I love it.
That's a very good one. You said that was your last?
That's my last one. Yeah, I'm going to show one a little bit later.
I got a couple more things, so I'll jump into them.
Yeah, please.
Whew, Jay. This is a beautiful toy. This Bullmark Mechagodzilla here. You said that. Wait, this is the Aurora.
The Aurora,
version. Oh my god, it's beautiful. It's clear. It's translucent. There's like colors inside of him. He is pink in one light. He's blue. He's green. This is a beautiful fucking toy, dude. If I could get, there's nothing you can't say about this toy.
No,
This is beautiful, dude.
I feel, it's one of my favorite that I own. I may be dead serious with you. It's truly one of my favorite. And I think what I like about it is, I think it's the best translucent, like it wears like that's kind of like the lead gimmick, the lead stylistic choice sofubi item there is. And I like that it's accessible. I mean, it's not a cheap figure by any means, but it's not one that's like $500 either, right?
Right.
And it's it's a normal size. I really think, especially if you got those early. I mean, I think I probably paid like $89.99 for mine.
Yeah.
Like way back, way back in the day, last year. But I think like if you look at 2021 and like figures of the year, it has to be on that short list because of it's gorgeous. It's talk about reimagining a sculpt that is. We talked about the bull mark sculpt. It's beautiful, and they did it in a beautiful. I really think it's one of my favorite pieces in my entire collection, and I'm glad you have one because I think everybody needs one, like the glitter guy, and everybody needs an Aurora.
I haven't been able to stop looking at it because it really is like every single angle you look at it, it's a different figure. Different. It's like iridescent almost, and it's like there's so many different splashes of color. He's got this like kind of gold on his chest plate there, so like there's gold, blue. The legs look pink. Like you can see that there's like a film inside of the translucent toy that turns colors, and then there's these like splashes of red all over it on his little emblems and his teeth, and it's just this is a gorgeous toy, man.
And when I think with people like that's one that if somebody doesn't understand sofubi and like why you why do you consider these pieces of art and stuff,
this is the gateway. This would turn anybody,
Agreed.
Like this would show nobody would look at this and be like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And if they do, then they can get out of my face. Yeah.
They're not gonna like anything. No, I'm so happy that you got that one finally. We were able to track one down because it is just it is a signature piece, and I just absolutely adore it.
Yeah. Thank you for helping me get that. Cool. So then this guy, I saw this on your site, Jay. I saw this toy on your site, and at first, my first reaction was, what the fuck is this thing?
Which is the best reaction to have.
And then I like couldn't stop thinking about it, and I kept coming back to it. And the more and more I looked at it, I was like, this might be one of my favorite toys of all time. It's this really weird Marmot Godzilla. This fucking long-necked freak of a toy is amazing. I don't know what the deal is. The color is super vibrant blue. It's just like he's got a nice silver dorsal plates. Everything about this toy is like super aesthetically pleasing. I love his neck. I don't know why, but why it looks like that or why it's so crazy long like that. But this toy is everything.
Yeah. I think it's I could be wrong on this. I think it's like the Marmot sculpt and like Sovi Life and Metacom kind of did a partnership to re-release some of these new colorways because that's a new figure. I mean, that's like I think 2020 or 2021.
Yeah.
As when like that colorway came out. Marmot, I think was like maybe early 2000 when they I can't remember.
Marmot, it says Marmot 2003 on the bottom of his foot. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the sculpt, the original one. And
the original
but
sculpt.
anyway, that's it's so cool. And is it that's the one that I believe is like the illustrated Godzilla from like the early like Godzilla the novel, like some of those early
early sketches or design. Yeah, I think so for sure. Yeah.
So cool. It's so unique. And that's one that I talk about stand out on your shelf. Not only is it a beautiful color, but it's such a unique design.
And it goes really well with this Mechagodzilla. Like it
really
really does. It's got some of the same blues in it, like these really pair well together. They love each other. I love them.
Hey, that's when it gets real dangerous on sofubi collecting is when you start having color-based shelves where it's like, this is my blue section.
Oh my God.
This is my red section.
Don't even.
I know. That's a really cool piece. I'm glad that ended up and I think we actually have another one on the site, but I'm glad that it ended up in somebody's hands that would appreciate it for its wackiness and just how cool it is.
I got one more thing, Jay, and
Yeah.
it's the only thing I saved it for last because it's the one thing that you don't know about. It's a
No,
surprise, and it was hard for me to keep it a surprise. I was like, I'd almost posted a picture of it when it came in, and I was like, "Fuck, I can't tell Jay. I want to keep it."
I love it.
All right, let me grab it. It's gonna be it's a little heavy, so let me.
I'm a little nervous.
Oh boy, it's just got a heavy base to it. You know, we were talking about Mondo earlier. I got another Mondo thing. I got the colossal statue.
I love it, dude. That is awesome.
This fucking sculpt, I know it's a little hard for you to tell through this, but you can really see every angle of this creature through the that in a way that you do not see in the movie.
Yeah.
And it is one of the most beautiful kaiju I've ever seen. And it's like, you know, it's like, it's cool because, you know, in the movie, its name is Gloria. It is a female, and it's it's like a feministic, like it's very cool looking. Everything about this is amazing. I know, you know, I was like trying to look for these, but they were sold out on Mondo's website. Jay, I got this on eBay for $30, still in the box. Somebody was selling this. They had it up for auction. The opening bid was $29.99 or something similar, and nobody bidded on it but me. I got this for $30.
That is amazing.
It's sold out. I got the box, the shipping box. It was brand new, and I guess maybe they hated it, or I don't know. But this is a beautiful statue, and I love it. And it's going to display well. It's bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I'll send you some photos off air so you can kind of see, but it's got these really cool details. I don't know if you can pick them up here, but in the arm, it's very like insect-like. And in the arms, there's kind of like these holes in it, you know, like it's got holes in its arm. It just looks cool, man. The back, you never see that in the movie. It looks like a stick bug or something. It's just really cool, man. Cool. So that's our pickups, man. What
a
good
week,
stuff.
man. Holy cow. We should be like a toy podcast.
Whew. All right. Well, we'll move on from that. We'll talk about, like, there's a lot of news this week too, and some of this we'll have to kind of breeze through, but there was a lot of Wonderfest releases, and I don't even think we're going to talk about all of them. Jay, I know you got some of them pulled up. You're going to pull them up, put them on the screen here, and we'll just kind of go through them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, while I'm pulling these up, we can kind of just talk about, we saw the Mezco dropped, not Wonderfest related, but Mezco dropped the Godzilla versus Hedorah set. And, you know, my question to you, because we both were in on the two Destroy All Monster sets, and then the Mothra, the flocked Mothra
set,
with the Shobajin, like, to me, I'm like, I don't know if I can buy this. I haven't seen it. It would be a fourth decently priced toy, and I haven't seen any proof of concept or proof of like these toys are good.
It's, first of all, the price is kind of insane to me because it's like, what was it, like $70, $80 or something like that?
I think it's
70. And it's two different Hedorah forms, Godzilla, like a diorama, the eggs, you know, like it is a set. It's nice looking. It looks great. But yeah, dude, I'm not buying it because when is this stuff going to start showing up? Like, my hope is that one day I regret not buying it, that I get all the other toys and I'm like, wow, these are all really great. I wish I had that Hedorah. But, you know, we have two Destroy All Monster sets. I can't even remember. Was it? That's almost, is it 10 figures or is it 9?
Yeah,
8
something
figures
like
or something like that?
Yeah.
Plus the Mothra, and like they all look great, but it's like, that's a lot of money that I've already spent and I haven't seen anything. So
yeah,
I'm passing on it for now.
Yeah, for sure. I'm right there with you. And you know, I think that I have a hope that a lot of other people are thinking that the same way we are, and that Mezco will get this production done because they've already been delayed a couple of months. The original Destroy All Monsters, I think, were supposed to come out in December or November or December, and they got pushed back to next month, maybe March through June. There was some like
it's a weird. Yeah, it's a big range. And I know everything's getting pushed back right now. I got some pre-orders through Sideshow for some like Star Wars stuff, and I got an email yesterday saying that one of the Sideshow figures I ordered is now expected to be delivered March through May. and I'm like, well, I know it's already getting delayed because I was supposed to have it 2 months ago. So it's like, I know everything's getting delayed right now, but still, man, it's a little crazy with Mezco.
Yeah, well, let's talk Wonderfest. So Wonderfest was last week, yeah, and I'm gonna blow these up, but we'll start off with who usually I think wows everybody at Wonderfest, and that's X Plus, and they were no different this year with this absolutely stunning. This will be it's based off an old model kit, and this will be I think something like 50 centimeters tall. I mean, it is going to be big. The Godzilla versus Ebirah model. I mean, perfect timing for us with this podcast, this topic.
Yeah.
But holy cow. This, I think, was coming out of this was my number one. I think what I'm most excited for out of anything was this X Plus release right here. And this is a 30 centimeter line.
Yeah. It's crazy because, like, when I think about now, not to spoil our discussion, but I do like Ebirah. I like Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. I've always been a fan of that film, but Ebirah is not something I would usually be like, well, yeah, I'm going to buy the Ebirah toys. You know, like that's something I would maybe pass on for something else. But this is beautiful, and I will own this.
Yeah. So now so it's a favorite sculptors line. It's 30 centimeters. So I believe the going price, actually says right down there, it's 48,000 yen. So you're looking at like $450. I mean, it's essentially like almost like somewhere between a really nice 30 centimeter and a gigantic. But then again, it's 50 centimeters tall. It's huge.
Right. It's almost a gigantic.
You're getting 2 X Plus in an action scene.
Exactly.
Like,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, but X Plus did. You know what? We're not just gonna do that. We're gonna we're also going to release here in what I believe is a 30 centimeter line. This really cool from Tokyo SOS. This guy, they've done, and I believe this is the large monster series. I could be wrong. It might be. I think it might be. There's a closed mouth version with the scar and everything. But I thought this was a really well done figure as well. And I'm really excited about this as well because I don't have any 2003.
Yeah, I mean, this is a beautiful toy. This is probably a pass for me, but it is. I mean, like all the X Plus stuff, even the stuff that I'm like, oh, this is a pass. It's still gorgeous. So it's like,
for sure.
Yeah.
And then this one I know is not a pass for you. This is the 25 centimeter. It's a 2-pack, and it is.
Oh, it's a 2-pack.
It is Godzilla versus Gigan coming in a 2-pack. Here. So, and the cool thing is, I wish we could get it for the price it's listed at, the $250 ish. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, that's why I didn't think it was a 2-pack, because I saw what the price was and I was like, okay, the X, $250, that seems about normal for X Plus. I thought it was each,
No. Look how cool these guys are.
Yeah, these are great, man. I did see some people. I saw a little bit of complaining about this guy again, and I wanted to ask you because I kind of came into X Plus a little later. But is this just a re-release? This guy again? Is this just?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep, I think there's a slight paint variant on there, paint job, but I believe it is just a re-release.
I saw some people. I saw a little bit of complaining going around, like it's the 50th. They couldn't have given us a new Gigan. But hey, you know what? I don't have an X Plus Gigan, so I'm buying.
And they're very expensive. So I think it opens up to a world, people that are like ourselves that want one, right?
Yeah.
And so I like it because, these are not things that have hundreds of thousands of units, So
now,
it's like.
Now, is this the same size as the Megalon that
I could be wrong, but I believe these are 25 centimeters, so they're going to be a little bit smaller. The Megalon is a 30 centimeter line, so this is the large monster series, the daikaiju, the 25 centimeters. So
I'd almost rather them be a different size, because it's going to put me in such a weird. If I have this Godzilla and this Gigan with my, posing with my Megalon, and it's not the right Godzilla, and I'm like, oh yeah, that doesn't really matter, but it's like would be cool to complete that.
Yeah,
that
for
whole thing. But yeah, those are amazing. I'll pick those up for sure.
And I'll have to say that I think the Defo Reels had a really stellar performance at Wonderfest as well.
Almost annoyingly so, because I don't want to buy any more of them, but hey, at least three of these I feel like I might have to buy.
I mean, I really think I might buy all of them because I already pre-ordered the jet. The jet's been released. But
That's been out, yeah.
Yeah, and they had to pair it with this gorgeous Gigan, Megalon, and the 73 Magaro Goji. But then they freaking come out with, you know, the 67 here with the baby Minya on the tail.
Yep.
Holy cow. Like, this is the best that Defa Real's done.
Yeah, it is.
This is it. I mean, I never thought I would say this, but I think I'm going to get all of these. Like, I really
love
am.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. You got
And,
to, man. Like, they just look great. That Megalon, dude.
That Megalon is stellar.
Yeah.
But I have to give kudos to, like I said, I hate the Son of Godzilla suit. I like the movie. But with on the tail, like, how can you not get that? I mean,
yeah.
But here's the crazy thing. I don't think this was the biggest news from Defa Real at Wonderfest because they're coming out with a gigantic Defa Real. So, and it is your favorite. It is Shin. It is a gigantic. Look at that thing. He looks kind of like a Critter meets Shin Godzilla.
It looks insane.
Look at the teeth. I just want to zoom in here on these teeth.
Okay, I'm buying that.
Holy cow.
I'm buying that right now. Can I buy that right in a second?
I know, and here's what I think you'll really like. When they say gigantic Defa, they mean it. I actually was able to find, see if I can pull it up here.
Oh, did you find like a
comparison one just so you can see it? Oh,
no, they've never done. Have they done a gigantic before?
Not to my knowledge.
No.
You know what? I don't think I have it on here. I apologize. I thought I did where it was comparing it to it. But you can kind of see it. If we zoom in, you can kind of see him down here.
Yeah, there's the other one.
It's significantly bigger. Look at that thing. It is.
I don't even know what to say about that. That is a monstrosity of a that's a nightmare come to life. Like, that's somehow scarier than actual Shin Godzilla. The way that is terrifying.
I don't know. I don't know if the Defa Real line can top this. I think this might be the pinnacle of that line.
They're going to have to start doing gigantic Defa Reals all the time now. It's going to have to be the new thing. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and what a great one to pick. Something that you could, that like, the more kind of like just disproportionate it is, the better maybe it is because of the nature of this.
Like, look at that tail, dude.
Yeah, I know. It is. Look at that. See if I can zoom in a little bit more on that. Look at that. I mean, it's. I don't know what to say. I really think that the Defos might have won Wonderfest.
Yeah, dude.
And that is something that you didn't think I would ever say.
Maybe they were listening. Maybe they were listening to the show and they were like, you know what? We better step it up for Jay.
I know. Before we get into kind of the more like traditional sofubi releases, I'm not a model kit guy, but I do want to bring up something because I think this might have been the most talked about item at Wonderfest from a kaiju standpoint. It's the Black Dragon Studio model kit. The Destroyer, and they did a couple of different variations of it, but this bad boy, I mean, it's gigantic. I mean, the texturing, I mean, this is like ridiculous. I mean, I've seen these things already on the secondhand market for $4,000 or $5,000. It is just intense and amazing, and I mean, if I see why it costs that much, I really do.
I mean, well, look at that wingspan, you know, and there's something that I love that happens sometimes is that whenever somebody can put out a figure or a statue or a model of something and it looks better than it does in the movie, like this is in like the pose that this is in, the detail that's in it, this looks insane. Like, this is, there's no words for this. And the fact that there's also, like, they did all the forms of it as well, right? You can get all of them.
Yeah, and I want to see in a movie this Destroyer versus the gigantic Defo Shin that we just saw. I want to see that.
Oh my god!
But I just had to throw this one out there for everybody, just because like
you got to
about model kits. I'm not a model kit person, but this is one that was really just absolutely stunning.
It's great.
Let's talk a little sofubi because we do like to talk sofubi. So I got to start off with my boys from Saru Jirushi and this Desu Goji that they released. They've done some really cool colorways, and they're relatively new on the scene. But I think this is just absolutely it's a good. What their kind of places to me is like we know the cost of owning one of the Marmot Desugojis. They're now starting at like $1,000, right? And this is also very expensive, not $1,000, but it's very expensive, $300-$400. But I think you get all of the cool elements of what you get when the Marmot Desugojis, but it's just from Saro Jirushi. And I absolutely love this guy. He's a big figure. I think he's about 12 inches tall.
Yeah.
And just I love the really cool, almost like 2D paint. It wasn't like they tried.
Well, it looks like lava to me. It looks like cracking. I love it. The cracking all the way around it. That's something that's a little different than what you're normally going to be seeing with a sofubi paint job. And it looks great.
Yeah. I think that they did kind of the counter. It's like, you see a lot of them, like they really focus on kind of like the areas that are supposed to be the glow, the nuclear glow. And they'll do like the translucent or whatever. Here they went with like a 2D paint application. It's kind of ho-hum. And all the detail and the focus is on like the skin where it looks like cracked lava. And it just I don't know, it looks awesome. I thought this was a great release, and one I know is getting a lot of positive pub out there in the world of collecting. But I thought this was a really cool release. Yeah,
it's a good toy.
One that I know you will like because of your love for Shin is this Sun Guts Factory. This fourth form, it's kind of like a skeletal looking Shin. I mean, I don't know if it has a specific named colorway, but I thought this one was absolutely cool.
Dude, Sun Guts has got like I've been keeping my eye on Sun Guts. Those are their shins they're beautiful. All of them, they're beautiful. They do all the different forms, and those are high on my list of wants for sofubi right now. So when I saw them post a picture of their table and it had these couple shins hanging out at the top, I was just like, boy, I got to get my hands on any of these. They're great. This is a beautiful toy.
Yeah, and I love I think it was the Kobe Characters Fest, maybe 2019 or 2020. They did the kind of it's like a green and like with red and orangey accents Shin, and it almost looks like it's Shin with Biolante's paint scheme.
Yeah,
and it's really cool too. I know those were, like I said, a few years back, but still, they do good stuff. Dude, for sure. That was one of my favorite ones that they released here. And then I love Gigabrain. We all love Gigabrain, and so I want to talk a little bit about some of these guys.
Oh, those are cool.
They had three. Yeah, and these are three of their common sculpts, right? The 62, the 64, the 66. But I love these kind of their base colors, but they have these really cool kind of metallic accents. The blue on the King Goji, the gold on the Masu Goji, and the 66 has kind of like a purple. It appears to be like a purpley gold. So I love these.
Yeah.
I think they do. Gigabrain does a good job. They know their clientele. They know what sculpts they like, and they just make hundreds and hundreds of colorways for each. And these are their new ones. I like them.
When I was a kid, I always disliked the way Godzilla looked in Godzilla versus King Kong. It was always one of my least favorite growing up. But now, as a smarter person, I've grown to love it. I love it, and now I see all the toys. He looks great, man. All three of these are really cool. I like the like sparsity of the color on them. Like just almost solid black with like splashes of the gold and the blue and the pink. They're all great.
One thing I don't know the answer to, but I will know soon enough, is the main row of dorsal spines. It looks like it could be glow in the dark. Like you see they're kind of almost like a.
It's either glow in the dark or they're just white.
Yeah, like a bone white color. And it's really, really cool. So that would be neat, but you don't see like as much of the multicolored spines, like a row of metallic and a row of something else.
Yeah.
So I think some cool stuff, like I said, Gigabrain, we know these sculpts are nothing new, but I thought these were pretty cool applications, and Gigabrains are, more affordable in the world of sofubi. So let's talk M1. And this is where I'm going to bring in one of my toys that I got. But first, M1, I think two releases that I think are worth talking about. One is from the new film that just was released last week in Japan, What to Do with a Dead Kaiju. And this is the kaiju from that, I believe is Kibo, I believe is his name. But this is the M1 release of that kaiju when he's alive, before he's dead.
Right.
And I thought it's kind of a cool little, I don't know, he's kind of like a youngery Godzilla.
Yeah, I love his mushrooms. I love that he's got mushrooms on his back. It's such a weird it's just such a weird kaiju, and those are the best. I really want to see that movie, and I hope it gets some kind of release. I got a little jealous today because I saw Matt Frank had been given like a digital copy of it. He was able to watch it, and I was just like, well, you know what, that ain't fair. I want to see it.
I did check some of the early reviews from Japan, and it's, shockingly, they're not great, but
shockingly.
Yeah, right. But it is Shochiku and Toei, so it's Gilala and Super Sentai meshing together.
We're gonna love it.
No, right? But yeah, it's like Gilala, but they get used the Toei budget.
Right.
I'm excited. And like you said, I don't go by critics. We'll talk about that a lot tonight in the Ebirah. But I thought this was kind of cool. But the one I wanted to show you next, also from M1. How about this bad boy?
Ooh,
the 1954 Shodai Goji in this amazing paint job with the plane. But I want to show you him in person because here he is. Here he is.
Dang, dude.
I mean, it has kind of the glow from the film, this kind of almost purpley brown metallic right here. I mean, it looks like the glow, the backlit glow there.
Yeah.
And it comes with the plane, which you can take out.
The plane I love.
This is a great toy. And I'm really, really, really excited that this is getting a bigger release. And it's I can tell you, looking at it and holding it right now in person, it is a beautiful, beautiful toy.
It looks great, man. I love everything about it.
Yeah, it is one that will definitely pass the eye test when you get it. And the last one that I want to talk about was, you talked about last show your Garamon that you got from Max Toyco, and Max Toyco I think had a under the radar really good showing at Wonderfest with this lineup of some of their Godzillas. I mean, look at these guys. I mean, you have King Goji and Masu Goji. We have Shin over here and GMK Goji. I mean, Magaru Goji. Like, these are really, really, really cool. And I think all of these would look great on the shelf, all lined up in that exact row.
Yep,
look amazing.
I love these sculpts. I love how they're kind of goofy looking. I love that some of them's heads, or all of their heads are really big. Like that's these are great. These are I think these are like must owns. Like especially. Look at that Megalon. Look at that Godzilla versus Megalon Godzilla. It's so good.
I know. I mean, the Shin just looks like he's crazy.
Right.
And then, I mean, I don't know, but good job for Mark Nagata and Max Toyco. Like that really, really good stuff there. And this was not on my radars, like to be talking about Max Toyco coming out of Wonderfest, and, amazing stuff.
Good stuff.
And then the last thing before we can kind of do a wrap up on this, if you don't mind, I hate to plug it, but I want to say about Toku Toy Town, we are getting some of these. So the M1, the Kibo, the one from What to Do with the Dead Kaiju, gonna be on Toku Toy Town. So are all three of the Giga Brains. So is the Saru Jirushi Burning Godzilla will be there as well. So will the cool M1 1954 with the plane. That one will be there as well. And so we're getting some. Oh, and also the Sun Gut Skeletal Shin will be there as well. We're getting that one as well. So those all will be eventually on Toku Toy Town. They're en route. Very excited to be able to bring those to some lucky collectors that aren't able to go over to Japan and grab them. So, like I said, I don't want to plug it too much, but some of the stuff that we did show off will be on Toku Toy Town and other great retailers as well. There's other ones that are wonderful. So don't just look at my site. Look at all the other great guys out there in the Kaiju community. But look at mine first. But yeah, I thought there's some really cool stuff, and I'm excited as a collector to own a lot of these, especially when those X Pluses get released, whenever that is.
I'm still waiting on that last fucking gigantic. What happened to it? What is happening? And the 91 that we have coming at some point, but whatever happened to that 89? I don't know.
Yeah, the Luminous Gigantic. Yeah, it's hopefully this gets brought back to life, because that will be an easy buy.
Yeah,
that's an easy purchase.
I want to give you my money. Come on.
I know. Let's not get into sad comments. That's a toy anxiety thing. But
guess they don't like money.
Guess they don't like money.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna do this real quick before we
please.
Before we get into Ebirah, I got to tell a little bit of a story. Jay, I already kind of told you the story, but I feel like I need to get it out because I'm still a little sour about it. So ever since we did our episode and we watched our kaiju films, and you had me watch Yamada Takaru, and
Yes.
I really got to know Orochi a little better. You know,
All heads.
there is a store in Atlanta, and I'm not going to call them out, but there's a store in Atlanta. They're not listening because they don't care, but they have had that Orochi since the first time I went in there, and you know, I remember the first time I went in that store, I was like, oh, I know sort of what this guy is, but I had never seen the movie. But ever since we watched the movie and I watched it, I was like, oh, well, now I really want that Orochi figure. You know, I was like, now I need it. And then you got one, and I was like, oh my, it's so big. It's impressive.
Yeah.
This thing has been in that store for years. And this past weekend, I went up to Atlanta on a mission to go pick it up. I was going to pick it up. And he also had a couple other. He had the mech from the movie. I can't remember his name. Yeah, but then he also had like a Zigra figure that I thought was really cool. I was like, oh, I want to buy all of these. So I'm like, I get there, I ask them, I'm like, hey, do you guys know how much the Orochi is? And they're like, what? What is that? They didn't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, the dragon in the case over there. So they go there, they pick it up. It's clear that that it's just been sitting there for years, and they have no idea. There's no price on it. There's no price on any of the 4 kaiju figures that I ask about. And then they're just like, yeah, there's no prices. And I'm like, okay, can you get me the prices? I would like to purchase all of them. Yeah. And they can't figure it out. They start looking on eBay, and like, I know we talk about this on Toy Anxiety a lot, that if you're going to go to eBay to look for prices, you have to only look at the sold for prices. You can't just get on eBay, look something up, and see like, well, this person has it up for $500, so that's worth No, it's not how it works. But these guys don't know the name of the movie. They don't know. They're like looking up. They're literally typing in the eBay Godzilla Dragon, and I'm like, you're never gonna. That's not what it is. You know. You know, the guy's pulling up the Z. I'm like, it's Orochi, and he's like, can you spell that? And I'm like, and then there's just none on eBay anyway. So yeah, they can't figure it out. And the one guy's like, well, I'll tell you right now, we'll text our owner and ask him, you know, but he's off today, so he might not get back. And he's like, well, I'll tell you right now, this dragon's going to be at least for maybe $500. I can just tell you because it's big. And I'm like, no, that's not how much. I was like, with your help, Jay, I was kind of like, well, I can tell you that Orochi's going for this much. The other 2 are around these prices. And I offered them money. I was like, I know these toys have been in the store for years. I am offering you fair prices. I will give you hundreds of dollars right now for all of these figures. And they're just like, we can't. And I'm like,
hey, they do not want your money.
I was like, what are they doing? Why? I just want to buy these. No one else. They were like scared of the owner. They were like, well, we don't know. Like, if we can't sell it too cheap, then we might get yelled at. And I'm like, okay. Those guys have worked in that store as long as I've been going to that store. It's been years. I just think if you have a store, maybe you should know what you got in there, know what you're selling. And if somebody walks into your store and they show enthusiasm for something that has been on that shelf for years, and they clearly know what it is, and you don't, fucking sell it to them. So
and not trying to lowball them either. It's not like you're saying I want it for
$5. I wasn't trying to lowball them. I even like offered a little bit more than I thought at one point, just to try to get him to fucking give it to me, because I don't live in Atlanta. Yeah. So I was like, it might be a while before I get back here. I had the money on me. I was like, if I leave here and I don't buy these figures, I'm spending that money elsewhere. You know what I mean? I have it right now, and I saved it specifically for these figures. Oh, I was so annoyed, dude. So, Craig lives up in Atlanta, and he's gonna kind of check on them and see if he can find out. Nobody else is buying them. They've been there forever. No. So we're gonna still see what we can do. But it was just such a like.
I don't think there's going to be a big run on Yamada Takaru toys.
There's not,
in the greater Atlanta area.
They're in pretty good condition. Still got the tags on them. So I was like,
oh, wow, that's awesome. Yeah. No, you should totally.
They still got the tags. The Zigra's in its bag, and it has like another Zigra figure. And I'm less sure about the prices on the Zigra, but it was just kind of I mainly wanted these, but then I saw that and I was like, well, I'll buy that too. If you know what I mean? It's going.
I can tell you that Zigra figure.
Yeah.
Not doesn't have the little guy with him, but just a base Zigra figure.
Yeah.
Coming to Toku Toy Town.
Okay, well, he might be coming to Jacob's Toy Town. But one thing they did have, and they did have a price on, and I did not buy because I was annoyed about the others, but they did have an Ebirah figure.
Oh, nice.
They had one of the boy, I can't even tell you which one of the wars, one of the Vinyl Wars figures.
Oh, nice.
But I didn't buy it because at this point I was just pissed off, and I was like, well, I'm not just buying the lobster. If I want it all, I want all the good big stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't buy it. But speaking of lobsters, an hour and a half in, we're going to start talking about our main topic here, Ebirah Horror of the Deep. We both rewatched it. Mm-hmm. The topic here is that we're going to try to defend it, but I got to tell you, Jay, I'm not really sure what we're defending because this movie's great.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, obviously, I have my I'll talk about my thoughts on it in a bit, but like,
sure,
I don't. It is one that is like always kind of at the bottom of a lot of people's lists on Godzilla films when they kind of rank them or talk about them, or it's. I mean, it was a Mystery Science. I mean, so was Godzilla versus Megalon, and we know thoughts on that, both of us. But it was lampooned on Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's one that's considered kind of goofy and bad and all this type of stuff. And I agree. I think it's one that it deserves to be defended to those folks that might not think it's worthy. And I just, to me, I'm with you. Like, I don't think it is a bottom tier film. I really don't. I think that it has its place and it's different than a lot of other ones. And sometimes it's what you like, but at the end of the day, like Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, as I knew it growing up, it's worthy of being defended.
I think so too. And I it is goofy and weird, and it's definitely it's such a different kind of Godzilla movie. But to me, it kind of fits right in with a handful of other really weird and goofy Godzilla movies, and I can understand that some people, they either like those kind of movies or they don't.
Agree.
I do. So, but I also I think it really depends on, and this is with every movie, especially older films, but sometimes it depends on like when you saw it. I was a little kid when I saw this, and Godzilla vs. Sea Monster was on TV a lot, so I remember watching it a lot. And it's just, I always liked it, man. The scene where, not to just jump right into it, but like the first time you see Ebirah's claws, whenever they're sailing over and it's nighttime, and it's like, that's such a fun, cool, and sort of scary scene. There's nothing scary in this movie, but that scene is like, if you can imagine yourself on a boat with a giant lobster claw coming out, I loved that part.
Yeah, I think for me, like in my kind of personal history of the film, same. Like I remember seeing this all the time. This was one that I would rent from the video store quite a bit because it was always there, regardless if we went to the video store that was in the Kroger or Blockbuster or Primetime Video or whatever. The one that we had one in the gas station by, I was like, it always had Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, and I kind of like my favorite movies as a kid were the ones that had the most monsters. And the fact that you got Godzilla and Ebirah and Mothra and Giant Condor
and a condor.
So therefore, like, it was always cool to me because it was like I got to see a lot of different monsters. And I don't know, like I guess I can see why people don't like it when they compare it to if they're only liking Godzilla 54 and Shin Godzilla and stuff. I get that. But I don't know. Like, I just can't watch this film without smiling. I really can't. Like, it is, and I don't know if it's the vibe or what. I mean, to me, it's like, this is a Godzilla film that you watch on a lazy weekend. It's to be daytime, and you're just on there, and you just want to smile and have some fun on the TV. This is not something that you have to sit down and meticulously pore over every detail or anything. It's just fun.
Right. And on top of all of that, this is the one of the big draws about this movie is that it's kind of like it's like a Godzilla All-Stars with the cast. Like, this is a fucking great cast. Everybody is in this movie.
Oh yeah. I mean, to me, like, I think when you throw in, I'm going to throw a really like huge, probably polarizing statement, a hot sports opinion, if you will, a hot take. I actually think Yoshimura played by Akira Takarada. I think it's his best role in all of the Godzilla series. And I know it's blasphemous because of Ogata and obviously Fuji in an invasion
so
of
funny.
Astro Monster, and
Yeah.
also in King Kong Escapes and Mothra vs. Godzilla as Sakai. Like, here's why, like, those other roles are great and they're important, but like, he truly is like the lead in this. Like, nobody takes it from him. I mean, it's great that Kumi Mizuno's in it because she's beautiful and wonderful, but she's underutilized in it. I think that's probably one of the flaws. But like, and not to go off on my Yoshimura tangent here, but like, I think that one of the coolest parts of this film is, I think he's the star of the film, and he really drives the narrative velocity of this film. Not Godzilla, not the monsters. I think the human part of this film is stronger than the monster part. And I really think like you could take out and this is one thing I've always thought, like, you could take out all the monsters and maybe change Ebirah to a battleship or something, and you could have a damn good movie. I mean, you think about a reluctant criminal who gets, cast away with these two annoying college kids on this mission to save this Hick Islander's brother from this terrorist organization, developing heavy water for nuclear bombs on this island. Like, that itself is a great movie. And I think Takarada and how he plays this role is so damn critical to how this movie is delivered. And I just think he's a great kind of anti-hero, rogue scoundrel type guy, but like, he's also like, you never ever feel he's a villainous, evil bank robber. You always feel like he's doing it because he's good at it, but like, he doesn't really like it. I mean, he's fake guns and he lets them stay in the yacht after they
right.
Say they're like,
you guys just spend the night.
Yeah, and like, even his
spend the
line,
night, go home tomorrow.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm a sucker for a hero. Like, there's just something charming about it, and the fact that it's Takarada, this larger than life, like, alpha male, he has the it factor, and he's playing this, like, you root for him the moment he steps on screen, and you like him even though he is a bank robber, and you root for him. And I don't know, like, I just think it's his best role. The other roles are great, he does a wonderful job, but he is not the only star in it, whether it's Mothra versus Godzilla or Invasion of Astro Monster. He's part of two or three other stars. This one, I really think he is the star.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting that you say that it's almost like the human plot is better than the monster plot, because I was thinking, and I said it to you earlier, that the first half of the movie is kind of, to me, like, more enjoyable than the second half. And it's not that I love watching Godzilla, rip Ebirah's claws off and the underwater fight. I love all of that. I love Mothra showing up and saving everybody. Like, it's all great. But it almost is better when the monsters are like an outlying threat, and it's just like every now and then you're like, oh fuck, there's a giant sea monster here, or like, Godzilla's asleep, let's not wake him up. Mothra is asleep, let's try to wake her. Like, that is almost better than when all the monsters are just fighting and Godzilla's up and there's a condor and there's a cigarette stuck to Mothra's head, and you know about that, right?
I don't, but I'm please tell.
There's like a shot in the movie where when they were filming, like, a cigarette fell, so there's like a shot of Mothra. There's like a cigarette on her head.
Makes it even better. That's so great. But I agree, and I think, like, the zany adventure plot, Takarada just knocking it out of the park. The score, it's not Ifukube, right? It is it's what's his name, Sato, who did Godzilla Raids Again, but he also did, like, Son of Godzilla and Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, which I think is a great score. It's so different and light and kind of fun and funky. It's perfect. I mean, it's the first one set out of Japan, start of the Island series. There's
Godzilla,
all this.
Why is Godzilla even just? It's funny that Godzilla is just randomly asleep in a cave. On the island that happens to also have a giant lobster swimming around.
I know, right? Yeah, it's like, how did he not know that? But then again, like, it is, as we know, and we should probably should have mentioned it first. Like, this was supposed to be a King Kong movie.
Yes,
it was supposed to be Operation Robinson Crusoe, King Kong versus Ebirah. What's his name? Sekizawa, the screenplay writer for Godzilla and stuff. He wrote it and had you can go there and kind of see the the treatments of it and stuff, and and had Rankin Bass not pulled out of it because they were pissed that Honda wasn't directing it, and you had a young upstart, Jun Fukuda. They come back a year later to give us King Kong Escapes, directed by Honda, but like all of that kind of like just makes it a little bit better. But like I could see that it was a last minute kind of like, it's very like Kong put into Godzilla's role makes even more sense. Like if you think about it, like in interaction with humans and the lightning and all this type of stuff. It's very Kong, and seeing Kong find a giant lobster, that just makes sense. But I think Godzilla's fine in that role. But
I mean, it would have been interesting and fun to see. Like I like all Kong movies basically, so like it would have been cool. But would it have been better? I don't think so, because I don't think anything is better without Godzilla. You know what I mean? It's like true. I want to. If the option is Godzilla or Kong, for me it's Godzilla every single time. So like, and also we got King Kong Escapes instead, which is
that was my thinking. What if we could switch it and Kong did get that, and then they went ahead and made King Kong Escapes, but it was Godzilla Escapes, and it's Godzilla versus Mechanicong. That would be amazing.
Sure, yeah, I'll watch that.
But no, everybody, like I said, they know that it was supposed to be a King Kong movie. I see elements that it feels like a King Kong movie, right, on an island, all this type of stuff.
Yeah,
but that is not like, it's not jarring to me that Godzilla's in it. Like it's not too much of a square peg in a round hole, and that's not. Of the few flaws the flaws that this movie has, that's not one of them to me.
No, for sure, because at that time, whenever you're talking about some of the Showa films where there's not a whole lot of continuity and it's just like this and this, and it won't. He comes out of a fucking iceberg in Godzilla versus Kong, and it's just like whatever. He's wherever he's taking a nap on an island. Who cares? He does whatever he wants. So, and I never thought it was weird either.
Well, the iceberg at least is continuity because he came when Godzilla.
Well, yeah, but
is it the same iceberg in Hokkaido? I don't. But yes, all the loose continuity. I mean, the dude. I mean, here's the thing: the only thing that's consistent is Akiko Harada has an eye patch. That's the only thing.
That's all you need.
But no, I like. I mean, like I said, I think that Godzilla's fine, but the monster stuff in it, I think, is actually brings it down. And I'm nothing against Ebirah. I like Ebirah, but I think we have to talk about the two fight scenes. First, the way too long, in my opinion, Godzilla versus the Giant Condor scene. Yeah. Like I don't know what that does. I mean, like, can he just like kill him like in 3 seconds?
Yeah. Also, it's a giant condor, but it's not giant to Godzilla. It's big. It's big to people, but it's not. It's like it should be dead immediately.
Yeah. It's the in scale to a kaiju giant condor.
Right.
But yeah. So that was weird. And then like the batting the rock back and forth and all that type of stuff. I actually liked some of the fight scenes with Godzilla and Ebirah in the water. I thought that was kind of cool.
I like the underwater stuff.
Yeah, but it's some goofy stuff. But once again, like if you like Godzilla versus Megalon, I mean, this is Fukuda. I mean, look what he does, right? There's goofy stuff, but like nothing is as crazy as a drop kick or Bono making Godzilla fly or anything. But like I get what people are like eye roll, right? But at the end of the day, like to me, it was not enough to be like, this is dumb. Like it just was like, okay, it fits in the movie.
Yeah, but it also, like, I think another thing that people have issue with, and this is, if I have any big issue with the movie, it is that not always, it's usually boring to me when a kaiju is just a big animal. Yeah. And Ebirah's design's it's not the great, like it's just a big lot. Like they could have done something and made it a little more kaiju-esque or monstrous or just did something. It's just a giant lobster. And I think if maybe he was designed a little differently, it would take away a little bit of criticism for the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's a big thing. That's why I think we both like the water scenes the best, because it makes Ebirah a little bit more credible because we feel he can maybe actually defeat Godzilla in the water. Whereas like outside of it, like when they're in that long range battle, it's like you're going to hit a rock at him and then he has radioactive breath.
It's a giant bug, basically. It's just like, what?
I mean, so I think that adds to it. And that was another thing is like, I agree. I think that is a weak part of it is, I don't know if he's a good adversary for Godzilla. And that is where I do think Kong would have been better than Godzilla because, he doesn't have beam weapons. And also, I think Ebirah also has the unfortunate positioning to be behind the last two movies where King Ghidorah is your main villain. It's like, it's hard to follow that,
I can definitely see for sure why
Yeah.
people would be, people who were watching these movies as they were released
Yeah.
would watch this and be like, "What the fuck is this
Yeah.
shit?"
Yeah.
Following
from like
those,
the major
but-
leagues to the minor leagues here.
But when you're a kid and you're just watching, you have no concept of what came first, and you're just watching Godzilla movies on Sci-Fi Channel. I was like, oh, I love this.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway is like, if our listeners don't like this film or have never seen it,
Yeah,
I mean, I would say like if you go in there knowing it's going to be a bright, vibrant, fun little adventure romp, and Godzilla's in it.
yeah,
I think that's the best way to approach it, as opposed to thinking this is going to be, Mothra versus Godzilla, or this is going to be GMK, or anything like that's like super action packed. It's just a different purpose for this, and I think, but it has its place, and it's a really
for sure.
damn good one, I think. But like the bigger question for me, and I'd love to pose it to you, is like we danced around it, but is this a better movie if there aren't monsters? Is this not better, but can this movie also be a really good movie if there were no monsters in it? Like, I really think it could be.
Yeah, I mean, for sure it could if you took all the monsters out 100%, because it's still like a movie about like a weird, agency being all sneaky on an island and kidnapping, and like it makes it a completely different film if you make it a little more serious, take the monsters out. It's more of like I can see this being like more of a thriller, I think it could work, but I don't ever want to see a movie without the monster. You know what I mean? It's like, then it's just another thriller. It's not, so it's really hard to take that position and think about it that way. But sure, it could work, even with the same actors and everything, just its own thing.
Well, I'm just trying to think of like reasons that people, why they dislike it, right? And I think that could be one thing. Is just that it is one of those movies where it's jarring to a lot of people. The human storyline might be better than the monsters. It's really like, they're not as pivotal to the plot, right? Whereas like if you think of Ebirah, the three-headed monster, and Invasion of Astro Monster before this, they are critical to the plot, right? They are super important. And they're also, you have Mothra and Rodan and Godzilla and King Ghidorah. Like I don't know if this is one of the first ones where they are like really not the most important element, in my opinion. And that's a jarring, along with some of the goofy fight scenes, along with some of the other things that it gets, ripped on for unfairly in some cases. I struggle to find a reason why people could so vehemently dislike this movie. Whether it's their favorite, I get that. It doesn't have to be your favorite, but like, I just don't know how you can watch this and not be happy.
Yeah, I see that, but it also almost feels like a little bit, when you're watching it, it sort of almost feels like a bootleg version of a Godzilla movie, because it is like, it's not the greatest Godzilla suit. It's not the greatest design for kaiju. The Mothra, it's weird that Mothra is like her it's just weird. The
bootleg
other,
Shobajin.
yeah, that's all bootleg. The song being a different Mothra song. It's like everybody really knows the main Mothra song.
Yeah.
So then when you're watching a movie with just like, oh, well, here's a second Mothra song. Yeah. It's like, well, this is different. This isn't Mothra song. And then, just the fact that the fight isn't the best. Mothra shows up, they just kind of take off, and it's like, it is a little, I can understand people who do dislike it, but it's still fun. It's still fun. Yeah. Like nobody's saying that it's a masterpiece of cinema. No. It's just like a silly, fun Godzilla movie.
Which is, there needs to be silly, fun. When you have 36, 37 movies in your catalog, you got to mix it up. And I think it does. I agree. I think it fits. We talk a lot about the Godzilla versus Megalon, Godzilla versus Gigan. But those late 60s, like the Island series, I think Son of Godzilla and Sea Monster, a little less Destroy a Monster. I think that's more beloved. But I think like if you view them in a lighthearted, silly way, they're good, fun, entertaining films. And not everybody just, they want to take it too seriously on that front. It's like, hey, the serious films, take serious. The ones that aren't serious, don't take seriously. Come on now.
Exactly. I love the serious Godzilla, and Shin's maybe one of my favorite of all time. But, you can't put every single Godzilla movie like through that lens. It's just like, this one's not one of the serious ones, so who cares?
And I would say that even of the silly ones, it even has its own unique qualities, right? Like I think that like Son of Godzilla, which obviously followed it, silly and stuff, but I feel like Ebirah has it feels a different feel. Like the human storyline, I think is more compelling. It's more of an adventure type thing. It really has an island adventure feel. Well, that was like more about more kid focused, or even more like fatherly lesson in Godzilla and media and stuff like that. There wasn't an adventure, right, as much. Whereas this one was a total like, can they pull it off and rescue the people and escape the red bamboo? And I don't know, in Godzilla versus Megalon, it's more space aliens and stuff like this. I think it's unique, not Godzilla versus Hedorah unique or Shin unique, but it's unique enough that it has its own little niche within the Godzilla continuum. And I think that's really cool. I don't think I would have thought that 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's like you gotta, if you so earlier when you were talking about your project that you're doing, and like kind of going back and watching movies more with like a critical eye on specific actors, I think if maybe some of the people who dislike this movie went back and watched it now and you said, hey, focus less on the Godzilla aspect and just everything else, the music, the acting, who's in this film, the actual plot of the humans, and like you might come out of it feeling a little different. So I
think so too. I mean, there's dance contests and skeleton keys.
Oh my god, I forgot about the I love that. I love the dance contest because it's like I remember when I was a kid being like, why are they in a dance thing? I remember, but like the fact that the guy's like the prize is a boat, and the guy's like, I gotta get a boat. How do I get a boat? Dance contest.
Yeah,
and
he misses it, and it's already started.
He doesn't get it. Yeah. I love the dance contest. The beginning of this movie is really, really quick, and it starts immediately. The action happens, and he's like, "I got to find my brother. I got it." Like they get there really quick. But one of the things you have written in the notes here is that I feel like we have to talk about a little bit are the names, the international names that came out.
Oh my gosh! And here's another thing to our listeners that don't do this. I highly encourage you. Any Godzilla movie, go out there and look at the titles in other countries, because especially in the 50s and 60s, countries would refer to monsters as generic monster names, right? Like, and we'll talk about a few here, but like it wasn't always just called Godzilla. They would refer to him as other names just because that was kind of par for the course then. But so we know it. I think a lot of us know it as Godzilla versus the Sea Monster because that was the U.S. when it was brought over. I think in '68 or whatever, it was brought over to the U.S. That's what it was. Or the international title was Ebirah, Horror of the Deep. So if you go to HBO Max, it's going to say Ebirah, Horror of the Deep, which is kind of, I think, the most accepted title. But the Japanese title, if you're watching it in Japan in '66, was Godzilla, Ebirah, and Mothra, Great Duel in the South Sea. So I think that's pretty cool too. Right?
I like that.
But then I pulled 3 that I think are just is a good showing, a good representation of how wacky some of these titles can be when they translated to other countries. I'll start with the easiest one, and that's in India, Ebirah and the Dragon. So Godzilla is now just dragon. He's just a dragon. So I can
you know what? I can understand that one.
Yeah.
Not the next two.
No. So and then in Germany, look at all the German Godzilla films. They all have this, not all of them, but most of them.
Yeah.
They're just Godzilla's just referred to as a Frankenstein. So it's Frankenstein and the Monster from the Sea is the German title translation.
That's so weird.
But my favorite, and actually before we did this podcast, I'd heard of this one. This was one that I always think about when I watch this movie. It's the Dutch title is my favorite. It is Mothra, the Flying Dracula Monster. So Mothra, who's in the movie for 2 minutes, is now the Flying Dracula Monster. It has like
Flying Dracula Monster.
I mean, like when you hear that and then you go watch the movie, aren't you just like, what? She just comes to carry some people on a net. I
wonder, are there any posters? Are there like any Dutch posters that have that title on it? I want a poster that says Mothra, the Flying Dracula Monster.
I can't. I don't have the Dutch one. I'm sure they are out there, but I am trying here, and
I've seen some of the ones with the Frankenstein title. I'm
actually gonna pull it up here.
That exists.
Oh yeah, and for some reason it is not working. I apologize. That was a total
it's okay.
Total mess up on my part. But I'll pull it up. I'm actually gonna we have to see if there is a Godzilla versus the sea monster. Sorry, Dracula flying monster.
I feel like there's
poster
got to
here.
be, right? If there's Frankenstein ones, you've seen all the other ones. One of my
yeah.
favorite things is seeing all the old art and the old posters. And there's some good artwork for the Godzilla versus the sea monster. But like the Ebirah poster, the one that I sent you the other day, like it's very different from any of the other Godzilla movie posters, and it just looks great. It's better than the movie probably, but
yeah, for sure. I'm having a hard time. I'm not seeing there's the German one. The German one is great. I'm gonna try one more search here. Because I mean, it's just so crazy that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's a weird, like, I want to see a movie where Mothra, or like the Flying Dracula Monster, just needs to be a new kaiju, like a whole new. I want a Flying Dracula kaiju. Please, somebody make that happen. Draw it, send it to me. Right.
And if somebody can find the Dutch poster, I would really appreciate it, because I kind of want to see that now. My quick search did not yield any results, but that doesn't mean it's not out there.
It's got to be.
Yeah. But no, I encourage you. There's always fun to be had with international titles when it comes to Godzilla movies. And like I said, a lot of Frankensteins. But yeah, Mothra, the Flying Dracula Monster, still takes the cake. Because, like I said, it's such a. I mean, no, that's not what the movie should be called.
Yeah.
No, dude, I don't ever mention.
I don't know if what we got. You got anything else to say on this film while we're doing
I just
this?
have a question for you.
Sure.
So like after this rewatch, like where does this kind of sit in your kind of Godzilla film? Like, I mean, I know you don't rank them, but like,
yeah. So
upper,
I mean,
middle, bottom type.
So
thing.
if I were ranking them, there's definitely there's a top section, there's a middle section, and there's a bottom. And I would not put this in the bottom, but I think it would be maybe like lower middle. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be in my very bottom, but it's going to be in the films maybe just before you're getting into the like, you know what I mean? So like, it is enjoyable. I do like it, but there's just so many Godzilla movies that are beating it out. So it's not quite. I don't want to middle, bottom, middle, something. Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that. I would say that this is one, like we talked about Return of Godzilla for me earlier, that has over time gone up a few pegs than what it was before. But I absolutely would put it there. I mean, I would put it up to me, and this is, once again, people know that I do not love King Kong versus Godzilla as much as everybody else, but I would put it above that, and like Godzilla Raids Again, when we're talking just like Showa era stuff.
I put it above Godzilla Raids Again for sure. That Godzilla Raids Again is a movie that I think that one, that's probably the one film that it's been the longest since I've seen it.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I never really liked it. So yeah,
I've thoughts on Godzilla Raids Again.
Yeah.
And I hope we do a can we defend it, because I do think it's an unfortunate film. It's unfortunate timing, unfortunate some of the things that happened with it during it, but I do feel that some of its negatives are fairly earned, and some of them I think are unfairly earned. But it would probably be at the bottom of my Showa list as well. But I find this, I mean, I like it better than almost any of the MonsterVerse films. I mean, I really do.
Man.
And I like the MonsterVerse to some degree, but I would put it probably that lower bottom tier, but it's still fun. And
it's still fun, yeah.
And it gets a bad rap from people, and I hate that about this film. I think people need to watch it and not be such a dipshit about it and a jerk about it, and just watch it and have fun, and you will enjoy it. And it is and watch it on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon when there's no yard work to be done. There's no anything. You're just laying on the couch, put it on, watch it, and it just will make you smile. And that is awesome when entertainment can do that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I can't even say it better than that. Everybody, Jay really wants you to go rewatch this movie, and I agree with him. I agree with him. Watch it with a better eye, a less critiquing eye, and just have fun with it, because that's what this, like, clearly that's what this movie was. The only thing they were trying to do is just be silly and have fun, and I think it delivers on that. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's about all I got to say about the sea monster.
Hey, we made it from Wonderfest to Lobsterfest on this one, man.
Jay, this is a really fun episode. I really like talking all the Wonderfest, all the toys, a lot of good pickups.
Yeah.
It bums me out because I'm not going to have probably any pickups next week because I got them all now. Maybe a few. We'll see.
Same.
But this was really fun. Jay, you got anything else you want to say before we?
No, before you guys, hang up on us here, like I do want to reiterate what Jake said at the top of the hour. Next week on Tuesday, check out the Jeffries, the award show from YHS, one of the coolest things that you guys do. And check out to see who wins the Kaiju Toy Line of the Year. I mean, that's like it's gonna be a huge thing. Believe me, this is not something that we all took lightly. We got votes from credible industry sources, our picks from credible industry sources. Jake and I had long discussions on
deliberation was happening. Yeah,
it
was a hard choice.
I mean, and these lines, like we went like 7 or 8, 9 of what we felt were their top releases of the year deep before we kind of picked a winner. I mean, it was we spent some time on it, and hopefully you guys like that part. But also the entire Jeffries are just fun and entertaining. If you appreciate toys in any capacity. I mean, I don't collect Transformers and G.I. Joe and Ghostbusters and kind of the main core of the Star Wars main core things, but I collect toys, and I love Toy Anxiety. Before the Jeffries came out, and the Jeffries were just kind of the cherry on the top because it is truly, I think, the coolest thing that the YHS creators that you guys put on every year. It's really, really cool. So check that out. And of course, you've heard me say this 1,000 times. Go check out YHS. Yes, have some podcasts. I mean, I know you guys drop weekly, sometimes Wednesdays, Thursdays. It's the core. I mean, it's you, Craig, and Abby. And none of us would be here without it. Because you guys started it all. It is the number one, my favorite, the best, the most inclusive, and just great, upbeat pop culture, geek culture, nerd culture podcast, talking movies, talking toys, talking everything. And it's the best. And then, of course, Toy Anxiety we talked about. And then I know you're wrapping it up. And by the time this drops, it'll be probably maybe the same day. You're the Boba Book Club talking about the Book of Boba Fett. But I know with the Kenobi show coming out, you guys will be doing those weekly Star Wars media TV show reviews, and you bring in like all these big guests. It's really cool. It's the core guys and Ryan Dole and Troy Benjamin and all these really great creators and just people that understand that property. And they're so fun to watch. I'm a Star Wars fan. I've been for a long time, but like I am just amazed how much you guys know, and just you still are able, like somebody like me, to watch it and be like, I get it. I'm tracking with you. It's really cool stuff. And you just keep on doing everything you guys are doing, YHS, and go check it out.
Jay, I appreciate it. Dude.
Now,
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Do everything Jay just said. And we also are going to be doing, we do have a Patreon, and the Patreon has, multiple episodes, just extra episodes, YHS stuff, movie reviews. We do hangouts. There's a Discord. There's its own, there's a Patreon exclusive Instagram account, just all this kind of stuff. And one of the things I do want to say that we're making a little bit of a change with our Patreon. And one of the things that we do put on there is there's not a schedule to it. It's just whenever I get around to it, there are a couple episodes on there, Jacob Walsh versus Stephen King, where I, as I'm reading or rereading or rewatching, I'll do little episodes on Stephen King books or movies or short stories. And sometimes I'll just read an entire Stephen King. There's like 1 or 2 episodes that's literally just me reading an entire Stephen King short story. If you like that kind of stuff, that stuff is coming to the main feed soon. We're going to, we haven't quite figured out how we're going to do it, but they're going to start going to Patreon first. They'll stay in Patreon for a couple weeks, a month or so. And then we're going to start releasing the Jacob Walsh versus Stephen King episodes somewhere, maybe on the main feed. I don't know, but there is a backlog of them right now, and soon they will all be public. So, yep.
And please leave a review for us. Please, if you have any time, please leave a review. We love reviews.
Every single thing that Jay just said. Do all of it, write it down, do it all, but then at the end, leave reviews for all of the YHS shows. We appreciate it. We will be back in 2 weeks. Please watch the Jeffries. And that's it, man. We will see you guys later.
Go get some space titanium.
Bye.